There comes a time in every woman's life when she has to stop waiting. Waiting for the approval, waiting for the recognition, waiting for the world to finally hand her permission to step into the life she was born to live. But let me tell you something right now. That permission slip you're waiting for, you've been holding it in your hands all along. Your worth isn't something that's stamped on you by other people. It isn't measured by how many people like you, approve of you, or celebrate you. Your worth is non-negotiable. It was written into your DNA the moment you took your first breath. And the sooner you decide to own that worth, to claim it, the sooner the world will start to reflect it back to you. Because the world mirrors back what you broadcast. If you carry yourself like a woman who knows who she is, people will feel it. If you move like a woman who respects herself, people will treat you with respect. But if you shrink, if you hesitate, if you wait for someone else to tell you you're enough, you'll be waiting a long time. We live in a world that's constantly trying to tell women who they should be. Be softer, be quieter, don't be too much, but also be successful without intimidating anyone. Be beautiful, but don't try too hard. Be strong, but not too strong. And if you try to fit into every box, you will lose yourself in the process. High-value women don't live in boxes. They break them. They don't ask for a seat at the table. They build their own damn table and invite the people who are worthy of sitting with them. And it all starts with the decision to own your worth. I'm talking about the kind of ownership that doesn't waver when someone misunderstands you or doesn't like you. I'm talking about the kind of worth that doesn't need an audience to be real. It's not performance, it's presence. It's not arrogance, it's certainty, and there is a big difference. But here's the thing, you don't just wake up one day and feel worthy. You have to decide. You have to condition your mind like an athlete conditions their body. You have to build the mindset that says, I am valuable not because of what I do, but because of who I am. You have to walk into rooms where you might feel out of place and remind yourself that you belong. You have to stop negotiating with yourself over your standards. You are not a bargain. You are not on sale. You are a masterpiece. And a masterpiece doesn't beg to be valued, it already is. The reason this is so important is because the energy you carry is what teaches people how to treat you. You show the world how to value you by the way you value yourself. If you tolerate disrespect, you invite it. If you settle for less, you condition yourself to expect less. And listen, I get it. We've all been there. We've all made excuses for people who didn't show up the way we needed. We've all lowered our standards because we didn't want to seem difficult or too much. But that version of you, she's outdated. She doesn't serve you anymore. It's time to level up. It's time to stand tall in your truth, even when it feels uncomfortable. It's time to honor your boundaries, even if it means walking away from people you once thought you couldn't live without. Because when you choose yourself, when you own your worth, you become magnetic. You attract the opportunities, the people, the experiences that align with your highest self, and you stop entertaining anything that doesn't. And I know sometimes it's hard. There are days when that old voice creeps in, the one that tells you you're not enough, the one that whispers, who do you think you are? But you answer back. You remind yourself, I am worthy because I exist. I am enough because I decide I am. And on those days when it feels heavy, when you're tempted to shrink back into the familiar, I want you to remember this. Growth is uncomfortable, but so is staying stuck. You get to choose your discomfort. The truth is, you can't control how people see you. You can't control who accepts you or who doesn't. But you can control what you accept for yourself. You can control your standard. You can choose to stop auditioning for approval. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to live a life that feels true to you, to stand in your light. And not everyone can handle that light, and that's okay. Some people will try to dim it, not because there's something wrong with you, but because they're not ready to shine themselves. You're not responsible for that. You're responsible for you. Owning your worth isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about showing up fully, flaws and all, knowing you are still valuable. You don't have to wait until you lose the weight, until you get the promotion, until you find the relationship. You are worthy now in this moment. And when you live like that, everything changes. You'll notice your energy shifts. You'll walk differently. You'll speak differently. You won't settle for half-hearted love or lukewarm opportunities or people who don't meet you halfway, because you know who you are. And I'll tell you this, the world will test you. It will throw you situations that make you question yourself. It will put people in your life who will challenge your boundaries. It will try to convince you that shrinking is safer. But every time you hold your ground, every time you choose yourself, you get stronger. You build the muscle of self-respect. And eventually you stop asking for what you deserve. You expect it. You embody it. You become it. That's the power of owning your worth. It's not a concept, it's a practice. It's an energy. It's a commitment you make to yourself every single day. And when you do, when you truly own it, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. So if you've been waiting for a sign, here it is. You are the sign, you are the permission, you are the power you've been waiting for. Now go out there and live like it, walk like it, speak like it, love like it. Because you, my friend, are a high-value woman. And you don't need to convince anyone of that, you just need to remember it. And when you do, when you fully stand in your worth, you'll realize this. You were never waiting on the world was waiting on you. If there's one mindset shift that can change everything in your life, it's this. There's more than enough. More than enough love, more than enough success, more than enough opportunity, more than enough space for you to rise. But most of us are trained from an early age to think the opposite. We grow up believing life is a competition. That if she has it, there's less for me. That if someone else wins, I lose. That if I'm not first, I'm last. And I want to tell you right now, that is a lie. That's scarcity talking. Scarcity is a trap, and it keeps you playing small. It keeps you stuck in comparison. It convinces you to settle for crumbs when you are always meant to sit at the table. Scarcity is a story. And like any story, you can rewrite it. I want you to imagine for a moment that life is like the ocean, and you're standing there with a little teacup scooping up water thinking, is this enough? Will there be enough for me? Maybe I shouldn't take too much. But look around, the ocean is endless. You can show up with a teacup, a bucket, or a freaking cargo ship, and there will still be more than enough for everyone. That's abundance. That's the truth of this life. There is no shortage of opportunities, love, money, friendships, joy, or purpose. The only thing that makes it feel like there's not enough is the belief that you're not enough to have it. A high-value woman doesn't see the world through the lens of lack. She doesn't get stuck thinking that someone else's success takes away from her own. When she sees another woman rise, she celebrates it. She knows that when one rises, we all rise. She knows there is room for all of us at the top. And because she believes that, she moves differently. She doesn't hustle out of fear. She takes action from a place of knowing. She doesn't chase after things that aren't for her. She attracts what's aligned. Because abundance isn't just about what you get, it's about what you believe. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself there aren't enough good men out there, or there aren't enough opportunities, or the life you want is for other people? That's scarcity, and it's sneaky. It hides inside your words, your choices, your energy. It makes you hold back from applying for that job because you're convinced someone else is better. It makes you stay in relationships that don't feed your soul because you're afraid you won't find better. It makes you keep your ideas small, your voice quiet, and your standards low. But let me tell you something, the universe responds to the energy you put out. If you show up with scarcity, you'll attract situations that confirm your belief in scarcity. You'll keep getting what you tolerate. But when you shift, when you start believing there's more than enough, you unlock something inside you. You stop seeing limits and start seeing possibilities. You stop feeling threatened by other people's shine and start realizing you can shine too. And your light doesn't dim theirs. You stop operating from fear and start making choices from trust. You You trust that what's meant for you can't miss you. You trust that just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. You trust that the world is conspiring for you, not against you. This shift from scarcity to abundance is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about knowing that even in the messy middle, you're being guided towards something bigger. It's about releasing the grip on what you think you have to have and opening up to receive something even better. Because here's the truth, scarcity is tight. It's clenched fists, shallow breathing, tension in your chest. It's fear disguised as practicality. But abundance is open. It's relaxed shoulders, deep breaths, and wide open arms. It's faith that says, even if I can't see it right now, it's already on its way. And I know this isn't always easy. I know what it's like to feel like you're running out of time, like opportunities are slipping through your fingers, like everyone else is moving forward while you're stuck in the same place. But that's a trick of the mind. That's scarcity talking. Time is not running out for you. Your opportunities aren't limited. Your worth isn't on clearance. When you believe in abundance, you stop rushing. You stop panicking. You stop settling for anything less than what you truly desire. You develop patience, not because you're willing to wait forever, but because you trust in divine timing. You trust that things are unfolding exactly as they should, and there's nothing you have to force. I want you to think about what you would do differently if you truly believed there was more than enough. Would you speak up more? Would you take bigger risks? Would you leave that situation that doesn't serve you? Would you stop playing small? Because here's the deal, abundance isn't just an idea, it's a practice. It's a daily decision to live in alignment with the truth that there is always more love, more chances, more possibilities. And when you practice abundance, you start to notice the little miracles, the opportunities that land in your lap because you made space for them, the relationships that thrive because you stopped clinging and started trusting, the money that flows because you stopped operating from not enough and started living in I am enough. And you become magnetic. People are drawn to you because they can feel that you're not grasping, you're not desperate, you're not in scarcity mode. You're in your power. And that power, it's irresistible. You become the woman who attracts what she desires without having to chase it down. Not because she's lucky, but because she's aligned. Because she's living from abundance. It's time to rewrite the story where you had to fight for scraps, the story where you had to compete for love, the story where you had to hustle for your worth. That's over. You're not in survival mode anymore. You're in creation mode. You get to create a life based on abundance, not scarcity. You get to decide that you are worthy of more than just enough to get by. You are worthy of overflow. You are worthy of a life that feels expansive, joyful, and abundant in every way. And when you stand in that belief, the world shifts around you. You start seeing doors where before there were only walls. You start attracting people who operate at the same frequency, people who want to collaborate, not compete, people who support you because they're abundant enough to know there's space for everyone to win. You stop seeing lack and you start seeing the infinite. Because that's what abundance is, infinite, limitless, ever expanding. So right here, right now, I want you to decide. Decide to shift from scarcity to abundance. Decide to believe there's more than enough for you. Decide to trust that you don't have to fight for what's already yours. And as you do, feel yourself expand. Feel your energy lift. Feel yourself become the high-value woman who knows there is always more on the way, because there is, and it's coming for you. And when you live in abundance, you'll realize you never had to settle. You never had to compete. You never had to shrink. You were always meant to rise, and there's more than enough room for you at the top. Everything begins with a decision. The decision to shift the way you think, to expand the way you see yourself, and to change how you experience the world. And one of the most powerful decisions you can make is to move from a mindset of scarcity into one of abundance. This is not just a shift in thinking, it's a complete rewiring of how you relate to yourself, to others, and to what's possible for your life. Scarcity is the lie that whispers to you in the quiet moments, telling you there isn't enough, that you aren't enough, that there's a limited amount of love, of success, of opportunity, and if you don't grasp at it now, it will pass you by. Scarcity convinces you that life is a competition, that someone else's win is your loss, that when someone rises, it somehow pushes you further down. But the truth is this: there is more than enough. And when you step into that belief, everything changes. Scarcity keeps you locked in survival mode. It makes you feel like you need to hustle constantly, prove yourself endlessly, and fight for scraps just to be seen, to be heard, to be valued. But you weren't born to fight for scraps. You were born to live in overflow. You were born to walk into a room and know there's more than enough space for you, more than enough opportunity for you, more than enough love waiting for you, not because you need to take it from someone else, but because it was always there. You just had to believe it. When you shift from scarcity to abundance, it's like turning on the lights in a room that's been dark for years. Suddenly, you can see what's always been available to you. You stop feeling like you have to chase people, places, or things to validate your worth. You stop attaching your sense of self to whether you get chosen, whether you get the job, whether the relationship works out, because you realize none of that defines your value. None of that proves your worth. Your worth is intrinsic. It's unshakable. And from that place, you become a magnet for everything that's meant for you. Think about how scarcity shows up in your life. It's that inner voice that tells you to settle for less than you deserve because you're afraid you won't find better. It's the voice that convinces you to stay quiet because you're scared someone else will outshine you. It's the feeling of jealousy when you see someone else thriving because deep down you believe their success means less success for you. But that's not the truth. That's the old programming, the scarcity mindset, and it's time to let it go. Because when one woman rises, we all rise. When you truly understand abundance, you celebrate others because you know their win doesn't take away from yours. It expands what's possible. Abundance is not about pretending life is perfect. It's about knowing that even when things aren't going according to plan, there's still more out there. More opportunities, more love, more joy, more healing, more lessons, more growth. You don't have to operate from fear. You don't have to chase people who are already walking away. You don't have to hold on tightly to things that aren't meant for you. When you trust in abundance, you trust in the flow of life. You trust that if something leaves, it's because something better is on the way. You trust that you are never running out of time. You're right on time. Shifting into abundance requires faith, not blind faith, but a deep knowing that what's for you cannot miss you, that you are always being guided toward your highest good, even when you can't see it yet, even when the path isn't clear, even when it feels like nothing is happening. You keep showing up. You keep doing the work. You keep choosing to believe that more is coming. And it does, because energy doesn't lie. When you live in the energy of abundance, you attract abundance. I want you to really feel this. If you knew without a doubt that everything you wanted was on its way to you, how would you show up differently? Would you still be begging for attention from people who can't see your value? Would you still be accepting less than you deserve? Would you still be talking yourself out of your dreams because they feel too big? Or would you stand taller, speak louder, love deeper? Would you finally release what no longer serves you and make space for the new? That's what abundance gives you. It gives you the courage to release the grip on scarcity and open your hands to receive. When you shift your mindset, your outer world starts to shift too. You start seeing possibilities where before you only saw dead ends. You start attracting people who match your energy, who reflect back to you the abundance you're living in. You stop settling for crumbs because you realize you were always worthy of the feast. You stop competing because you realize there's no competition when you're in your own lane. What's yours is already yours. There's no need to chase it. There's no need to prove anything. You just need to align with it. Abundance is a practice. It's not something you just say. It's something you live. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you make decisions. It's how you speak to yourself when no one is listening. You speak life into your future. You speak love into your present. You remind yourself every day there is more than enough love, more than enough opportunity, more than enough time. You are not behind. You are not lacking. You are not losing. You are becoming. You are rising. And the best part, abundance expands as you do. The more you trust it, the more it shows up for you. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you celebrate others, the more you have to celebrate. It's a cycle, and you are the one who sets it in motion. You get to decide today that scarcity no longer has a seat at your table, that lack is no longer your story, that fear is no longer your motivator. Love is, trust is, joy is, so breathe that in, let it settle into your bones. You were made for this. You were made for more, and there is more than enough for you, always has been, always will be. The only thing you need to do is believe it, live it, and receive it, because abundance isn't somewhere out there. It's right here. It's inside you, and it's time to claim it. You are abundant. You are enough, and there's more on its way to you right now. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes she's the one who decides what she will and won't accept. Not the world, not her past, not the opinions of people who can't see her worth. She decides. And that moment is where everything changes. Because the life you live, the relationships you have, the opportunities you attract, every single piece of it is a reflection of the standards you set for yourself and the boundaries you hold around them. If you want to step into the life of a high-value woman, if you want to level up who you are and what you experience, it starts with one decision: raise your standards and hold the line. Now, what does that really mean? It means you stop negotiating your worth. You stop watering yourself down so other people can handle you. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces you've already outgrown. It means you decide with unshakable certainty what you are available for and what you are not. And you don't apologize for it. You don't second guess yourself when people question you. You don't lower the bar just because someone else refuses to rise to it. You hold the line. You keep your standard where it belongs, high, not because you're difficult, but because you know your value. Not because you think you're better than anyone else, but because you've worked hard to become the woman you are. And you're no longer willing to accept anything that doesn't honor that. For so long, so many of us have been conditioned to believe that wanting more is asking for too much. That if we raise our standards, whether it's in love, in work, in friendships, or in how we're treated, we'll be seen as demanding or hard to please. And the fear creeps in. The fear that if we ask for more, people will leave. We'll be alone. We'll miss out. But what if I told you the opposite is true? That when you raise your standards, you don't lose people who are meant for you. You reveal who is truly aligned with you. You don't miss out on opportunities. You clear space for better ones to arrive. You don't end up alone. You make room for deeper, more fulfilling connections. When you hold the line, you become a filter. Only those who respect you, value you, and honor your boundaries will remain. And that's exactly what you want. You see, your standards are not just about what you ask for from others. They're about what you expect from yourself. They are the declaration of your self-worth in action. They show up in the way you take care of your body, the way you speak to yourself, the way you honor your time and energy. If you say you want a life of peace, but you keep allowing chaos into your space, you're not holding the line. If you say you want a love that is deep, respectful, and honest, but you settle for breadcrumbs of attention, you're not holding the line. If you say you want to grow into the best version of yourself, but you surround yourself with people who keep you stuck in old patterns, you're not holding the line. The world rises to meet you where you set the bar, and when you raise it, everything has to shift. Yes, some people will fall away. Yes, it will feel uncomfortable at times, but your comfort zone was never meant to be your home. It was meant to be a place you passed through, not a place you settled in. Growth demands discomfort, and raising your standards demands that you get very clear about what you're no longer willing to tolerate, not from others and not from yourself. And let me be clear, this isn't about perfection. This isn't about expecting flawless behavior from everyone around you. It's about integrity. It's about alignment. It's about knowing your non-negotiables and standing firm in them. Maybe it's honesty. Maybe it's consistency. Maybe it's emotional availability. Whatever it is, you get to decide. You are the gatekeeper of your life. You are the one who chooses who gets close to you, who gets your time, who gets your energy. And when you hold the line, you stop over-explaining. You stop trying to convince people to treat you well. You stop begging for the bare minimum because you understand that what you allow is what will continue. And you're not here to live a life of almosts and maybes. You're here for the real thing. Holding the line means you trust yourself enough to walk away when something doesn't feel right, even if you can't explain it, even if it looks good on paper, even if everyone else tells you to stay. It means you listen to your inner knowing and you choose yourself every time. It means you stop waiting for someone to choose you first, to validate you, to make you feel worthy. You already are. And from that place, you attract people and situations that reflect that truth back to you. But here's where it gets real. There will be moments when holding the line feels hard, when the old version of you wants to jump in and settle, when the fear of being alone whispers to you, when the pressure to conform gets loud. That's the test. That's the moment when you lean in, when you breathe deep, plant your feet and stand tall, because you are no longer the woman who bends and breaks for temporary comfort. You are the woman who stays true to herself even when it's tough. And that strength, that is what builds a life that feels like freedom. Raising your standards and holding the line doesn't mean you're closing yourself off. It means you're opening yourself up to what's real, what's true, and what's worthy of you. It's about calling in friendships that are mutual, where you both give and receive. It's about creating romantic partnerships where love is expressed through respect, trust, and action. It's about finding work that honors your talents, your time, and your vision. It's about refusing to dim your light just to make others comfortable, because your light was never meant to be dimmed. It was meant to shine and lead. This is the moment you decide. No more half-hearted relationships. No more tolerating things that drain your spirit. No more making excuses for people's behavior because you're afraid of what might happen if you speak up. You are no longer available for anything that costs you your peace, your joy, or your sense of self. You are a high-value woman. And from this day forward, you move like one, you speak like one, you act like one, you live like one. And as you raise your standards and hold the line, the world shifts to meet you there. People who respect you will be drawn to you. Opportunities that align with your vision will appear. Life will reflect back the love and value you show yourself every day. And you'll look around and realize this isn't just a dream, it's your new reality, a reality you chose. A reality you created, a reality built on the foundation of your unshakable worth. You are worthy of a life that reflects the highest version of yourself. You are worthy of relationships that honor your heart and your vision. You are worthy of experiences that expand you, not drain you. And it all begins with the standards you set and the boundaries you honor. So raise them and hold the line, because everything you desire is on the other side of that choice. There is a power that lives inside you. It's not dependent on the world outside you, on the opinions of others, or on the circumstances you find yourself in. It's a power that was placed there the day you were born, and it's been waiting for you to claim it fully. That power is unshakable self-belief, the kind of belief that doesn't waver in the face of doubt, that stands tall when life throws curveballs, that refuses to crumble when things don't go according to plan. This isn't something you're either born with or you're not. This isn't something reserved for a chosen few. This is something you build. And when you build it, no one can take it from you. Because confidence is a muscle. And like any muscle, the more you work it, the stronger it gets. In the beginning, you may not feel ready. You may feel uncertain, shaky, unsure. That's normal. Nobody starts with unshakable self-belief. You build it in the moments you show up for yourself, even when you're scared. You build it when you choose to believe in your own potential, even when you have no proof yet. Confidence doesn't come from knowing you'll never fail. It comes from knowing you can trust yourself to get back up when you do. It comes from the decision that no matter what happens, you have your own back. You will figure it out. You will keep going. And eventually, you realize that nothing can take that away from you. There's a moment in life when you have to stop waiting for someone else to hand you permission. You stop waiting for someone to tell you you're good enough, smart enough, worthy enough. You stop waiting for the perfect timing, the perfect opportunity, the perfect plan. Because here's the truth. There is no perfect time. There is only right now. And right now is when you start. Right now is when you decide you are done doubting who you are. You are done questioning your right to take up space. You are done shrinking. You are done hesitating. You are done holding back. You're not here to play small. You're here to rise. You're here to lead. You're here to live fully. Confidence is built by action. It's not built by sitting on the sidelines, analyzing and overthinking. It's built by stepping into the arena of your life and being willing to try, to stumble, to learn. Every time you take action, you cast a vote for the kind of woman you are becoming. Every time you show up for yourself, even when you're nervous, even when you're unsure, you're proving to yourself that you can. And that's how self-belief grows. It doesn't grow by waiting until you feel ready. It grows by moving through the discomfort, by doing the thing anyway, by standing in the fire and realizing you're stronger than you ever thought. And it's important to understand that confidence isn't about arrogance. It's not about pretending you have all the answers or acting like you're perfect. It's about knowing that you are enough exactly as you are, and you're still open to learning and growing. It's the balance of humility and certainty. The humility to know there's always more to learn, and the certainty that you are capable of learning it. That's the kind of unshakable belief that changes everything. It makes you magnetic. It makes you grounded. It makes you powerful beyond measure. But let's get real for a second. Life will test you. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when fear knocks at your door, when old stories start playing on repeat in your head. You'll hear the voice that says, "Who do you think you are? You can't do this. You're not ready." And that's when you breathe deep, get still, and remind yourself who you are. You remind yourself of every challenge you've overcome, every time you've figured it out when you didn't think you could, every time you've risen when you thought you were done. You remind yourself that you have been here before, and you are still standing, stronger, wiser, more ready than ever. Self-belief is a relationship you build with yourself. It's earned through consistency, through showing up again and again, even on the days when motivation is low and doubt is high. It's in those small choices. You said you'd go to the gym, so you go. You said you'd follow through on your commitment, so you do. You said you'd speak up for yourself, so you find the courage to say the words. And every time you do what you said you would do, you build trust. You create a solid foundation inside yourself. You become your own safe place, your own biggest supporter, your own source of validation. And that's where the magic happens. When you no longer need external validation to feel good about who you are, you're free. When you no longer need someone else to co-sign your dreams, you move faster, you go bigger. You stop asking for permission and start giving yourself the green light. You realize that you are the one you've been waiting for. You are the one who gets to say yes to your life. Confidence grows in the doing. And yes, you'll make mistakes along the way. That's not failure. That's feedback. That's how you learn what works and what doesn't. That's how you get sharper, stronger, better. The women who are standing at the top of their game, who seem fearless and unstoppable, they've failed more times than most people have even tried. They've heard no, they've doubted themselves, they've questioned if it's possible, but they kept going. They kept showing up. They kept choosing to believe in themselves, even when it was hard. That's what separates them, not talent, not luck, but relentless belief and consistent action. You don't build unshakable self-belief by sitting in a corner waiting for the fear to go away. You build it by walking through the fear, by making bold moves, by trusting yourself when it doesn't make sense yet. You build it by stepping outside your comfort zone, because that's where the growth happens. That's where you meet the version of yourself who's been waiting to be unleashed. And here's the thing, confidence is contagious. When you develop that unshakable belief, people feel it. You walk into a room and your energy speaks before you do. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to compete. You just are. And people are drawn to that. Opportunities open up for that. Life expands for that because the world reflects what you believe about yourself. So if you're wondering where to start here. Start by making a decision. Decide you are worthy. Decide you are capable. Decide you have what it takes. Even if you don't feel it yet, decide. Then act. Take one step today that stretches you. Do one thing that makes you a little nervous. Speak up, show up, move forward, and then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. That's how you build a muscle. That's how you create momentum. That's how you become the woman who walks with certainty, speaks with power, and lives with purpose. You are already enough. Right now. You are already powerful beyond measure. But it's time to believe it. It's time to act like it. It's time to live it. Develop that unshakable self-belief, and there will be no limit to what you can create, who you can become, and the life you can lead. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you claim. And it's yours starting today. There is a deep kind of freedom that comes when you decide to stop performing and start living fully as yourself. It's like taking a breath you didn't realize you were holding for years. For so long, we're conditioned to wear masks, to play roles, to be who we think the world wants us to be. We edit ourselves in conversations. We shrink parts of who we are because we worry about how we'll be perceived. We tone down our excitement so we don't seem too much. We dim our intelligence because we don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. We pretend we're fine when we're exhausted because we don't want to appear weak. And in the process, we drift further and further from our truest selves. But there is a point when that no longer works. When you realize that no amount of performing will ever create the kind of love, respect, and freedom you crave. The only thing that does is authenticity. Authenticity is magnetic. It's that unspoken energy that people feel when they're around you, when you're no longer trying to be someone you're not. It's the deep sense of peace that comes when you know you're living in alignment with who you really are. You stop second guessing every move. You stop worrying if you said the right thing. You stop feeling drained after every interaction because you are holding yourself in a shape that doesn't fit you anymore. You relax into your own skin. And that kind of energy is powerful beyond measure. It draws the right people, opportunities, and experiences into your life, not because you're working so hard to prove your worth, but because you're finally showing up in the fullness of who you are. When you radiate authentic energy, you stand out without trying. You don't need to compete or compare. You're not in the room to win approval. You're in the room to bring something real. That kind of presence can't be manufactured. You can't fake it. You can't package it in the perfect words or the perfect outfit or the perfect strategy. It comes from within, from knowing yourself, from owning your story, from loving the parts of you that you once thought you had to hide, from embracing the fact that you are a work in progress and still worthy of love and belonging right now as you are. So many of us have spent years perfecting the performance. We learned early how to get approval, how to fit in, how to be liked. We were praised for being easy to be around, for not causing a stir, for keeping the peace. But keeping the peace outside often means creating chaos inside, because when you're constantly editing yourself, you lose touch with who you are beneath the performance. You wake up one day and realize you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You're exhausted, burnt out, and wondering why you feel so disconnected, even when you're surrounded by people. That's the cost of performing. It's heavy, and it's not sustainable. There's another way. It's simpler, but it takes courage. It takes peeling back the layers you've wrapped yourself in to protect yourself from judgment, rejection, and disappointment. It takes looking at the parts of yourself you were told were too much or not enough and seeing them with new eyes. It takes honoring your truth, even when it's messy, even when it's uncomfortable. But on the other side of that work is freedom. It's lightness. It's the ability to walk into any room and be at peace because you're not carrying the weight of who you think you need to be. You're simply being. When you stop performing, your relationships change. They deepen because people aren't connecting with your mask anymore. They're connecting with your heart. You're not drawing people in who are only there for the version of you that fits their comfort zone. You're drawing in people who see you, who value you, who meet you where you are. And the ones who can't, they fade away. And that's okay because you're no longer molding yourself to stay in spaces where you don't belong. You're not begging to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself. Radiating authentic energy doesn't mean you're perfect. Doesn't mean you figured everything out. It means you're real. You can say, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. You can say, I'm scared, but I'm showing up anyway. You can say, this is who I am, and I trust that's enough. You become a safe place for yourself. You stop abandoning yourself to make others comfortable. And when you do that, you become a safe place for others too. Your authenticity gives them permission to drop their guard, to be themselves, to breathe a little deeper in your presence. There's a radiance that comes from authenticity that no amount of external polish can replicate. It's in your eyes when you're passionate about something. It's in your voice when you speak your truth. It's in your body language when you're fully present, not thinking about how you're being perceived, but just being there, fully alive in the moment. That's where your power is. That's where your magnetism lives. You don't have to perform. You never did. That story was handed to you. Maybe it kept you safe once. Maybe it helped you survive. But you're not here to survive anymore. You're here to thrive. You're here to live out loud, to take up space, to share your gifts with the world in a way that only you can. And that starts with being real, with being you. When you radiate authentic energy, you stop attracting things that aren't aligned. You stop saying yes when you mean no. You stop tolerating relationships and situations that drain you because you're so clear on what lights you up. And the world responds to that clarity. It rises to meet you because the energy you put out comes back. And when the energy you're putting out is grounded in truth, in self-respect, in joy, what comes back to you is a reflection of that. You call in opportunities that align with your purpose. You call in people who appreciate your essence. You call in experiences that stretch you and help you grow because you're no longer afraid of being seen in your process. And when challenges come, because they will, you move through them differently. You're not trying to hold up a facade. You're not worried about keeping an image intact. You face life with an open heart and a steady spirit. You trust yourself because you know who you are. And there's nothing more powerful than that. This is about choosing honesty over performance, wholeness over perfection, connection over approval. And it's a daily practice. Some days you'll catch yourself slipping into old patterns. You'll notice the urge to perform, to prove, to polish. That's okay. The key is to notice it and gently return to yourself. Remind yourself that you are already worthy. You're already enough. You have nothing to prove and everything to offer simply by being who you are. Your authentic energy is your greatest gift. It's what makes you unforgettable. It's what leaves a legacy, not just of what you accomplished, but of who you were while you did it. When you lead with authenticity, you show others what's possible. You show them that it's safe to be real. You give them permission to stop performing too, and that ripple effect changes everything. You're not here to be a carbon copy of someone else. You're not here to fit into a box. You're here to shine as you, unapologetically. You are here to live in alignment with your values, to speak with your own voice, to stand in your own truth. And when you do that, you don't have to chase anything. You attract everything that's meant for you. So take a deep breath, let go of the performance, step into who you are, and watch how the world changes when you decide to be real. That's where your power has always been, and it's yours now if you're ready to claim it.